time, pornography, I have dealt with pornography in school. And a boy came to me so desperate one day, teacher, mimi pornography, I'm addicted. Nikamuliza ulianzaje? Mimi nachukua simu ya mama. Anadhani nina Google question ya physics. And because it's a day school, he does it almost every day.
Oh God.
Sasa niko na shida. Shida ni ya nini? Ukiingia teacher, mimi nikikuangalia siponi na nguo. Nishakuvua zile nguo. Even a male teacher.
Oh God.
I cannot get anything as the teachers speak. Then I told him, can you take my smartphone? Can you show me how do you get to that spot? Akafungua, akaenda, the first stage, the second stage. By the time he was getting to the third stage, I asked him, have you realized something? Kaniambia teacher ni nini? They're asking you whether you want to continue. Kwa hivyo wewe mwenyewe ndio unachukua jukumu na hatua ya kufungua ukurasa huo mwingine. Nikamwambia, do you usually stop there? No. So go ahead. Akafungua, akaenda. By the time we were getting to whatever he wanted to watch, everything was there. Nude people, nikamwambia, so watch. Hapana teacher, siwezi nikawatch sasa ukiwa hapa. This is what you watch every day. Nikageuza simu nikamwambia, go ahead. And he switched off my phone. I told him, what has happened? Teacher, you don't know. Sasa ikifika hapo, mentally I'll join them. If it's anything sexual on the phone, I'll go through it. My body also will be there. So by the time tena kesho asubuhi niamke, I prepare myself to come to school, I'm a different person. Kichwa changu ni nude people and everything. And that is what our youth should know. Those files, as you open them, they ask you whether you want to get to go on because they know they are playing about with your will.
Yes.
So technology is something that has brought some ills in our society, and because again it's something very we need it. It's inevitable. You have to use it. I think the best thing is for parents to warn their kids, their boundaries, their controls. Hata mimi si lazima niweke. Hata najua unaweza download movies nyingi, hata rafiki yako muulize zote udownload. What is the effect after this? Let them know.
Yes.
They have also to make their decision.
Wow. Good. I think we can now, we will be able to better advise them, because we should, as you're saying, we should never be tired of talking.
Yeah.
Because if we don't talk, one day they will blame us.
They will.
They will say, we never guided them. We never told them. But if we say it, at least there will be some feeling of guilt whenever they do something which is wrong. And whenever they are taking a step towards something which is wrong, they always remember, I was told, I was warned. So whatever consequences, they will be upon me. It is me now who is taking control.
Let me also say something before we get out of that aspect or issue. We are hoping that we'll open schools in January. Let me tell you, apart from the many numbers of teenage girls that we are talking about, the pregnancies and everything, they may not join in January, they'll be breastfeeding. We are doing our own calculations for March or by February. We also need also to show our concern on the empty minds, most empty minds that are going to get back to school in January.
By the way,
many parents are not careful. They are not careful. Some kids are not even using the gadgets at home. A mother who does not have a smartphone, out. And they are going to all joints and they are there. We are trying right now where I stay to tell the owner of video games to vacate. And he's saying, no, I have the right to be here. And I have customers. Who are the customers?
The
youth.
The kids.
Yeah.
Kids. And they are the teens, actually.
Yes, the teens.
It's not even the youths who are in college.
The teens.
Because the ones who are in college, most of the time they have assignments, the cards to send there.
Very
so
well.
It's the teens who are in high school.
Yeah.
And primary school.
And primary school also, because they don't have online classes. Yeah. And even in some secondary schools or high schools, they have not been able to have such a program. Now, the kids cannot stay at home. The minute you give them an assignment, they are too bored and they get out of the gate. They just take the mask. Don't worry whether it's going to be used properly or not. And they are going to these joints. So there is an erasing of academics is the last thing they're thinking about.
Okay.
That is one thing, again, psychologists should be prepared for back in school.
So it's no longer about them taking alcohol and other things. There is another potent drug here.
There's another potent
video games, and the videos they are going to watch over there.
Yes.
And most of them are even X-rated.
Exactly. So at one time when they go back to school in January, the teacher will be having people who are like absent-minded. They are almost asking you, pardon, what is physics? Huh?
Oh God.
What is chemistry?
Right.
We have to curtail these things right now.
So even the teachers need to be mentally prepared.
Very well. Very well.
It's like
And
we
cancelled.
This is the high time the government enrolled counselors in each and every school.
Exactly.
Both high school and primary schools, there is need for it. Because in Kenya, we've always had that gap.
Yeah.
Only the schools that can afford are able to have. And you find that these counselors are also given subjects to teach. Yeah. So they are doing double work. Because it's not like we put so much emphasis on the guidance and counseling aspect. Exactly. I think there is something we need to pick up.
We need to pick it up, and I hope the ministry at this time round is going to lessen the workload of the counselors in schools, because you need a lot of counseling. Some kids have picked up habits that they are going to take to school in January.
Sure.
And you see this will reflect negatively, not only in their performance, but in their own interactions and relationships with the cooks, with the teachers, with the prefects. Now prefects are going to have a hard time this time.
I'm telling you.
And you see, when imagine like the prefect in that class could be your daughter, and she has her own books,
her own works to do.
She has her own work to make sure that she has done her assignments. It is a lot to be done. The gap that we're talking about is widening.
And we are
mental preparedness of these youths as they go back.
And emotional balancing now to bring them back to the kids that they are supposed to be.
Very true.
And we are not only talking about girls who are not going to come back. We have boys who are already fathers within this season.
Exactly.
We have girls who have aborted.
Trauma.
We have others who have been raped. And they are all going to come back.
You're right.
And the others who have been abused in different other ways.
Very true.
And they are going to bring all these baggages in school. It's like we will have to take one step at a time and understand every child on their own.
It is very true. I was telling my colleague, first term for me in 2021, I think it will be a term whereby kids would rather be cancelled for the first 1 month, because my class will have all those categories you are talking about. Somebody who was raped, she's not expectant, but she's traumatized. Somebody who was abused, she by an uncle, by a close relative, she's not expectant.
And maybe the parents didn't protect because they don't want to to have conflict with the family.
Yeah. And then I'll have a boy within the same class who is a dad. So he's in class as I teach, he's thinking of the infant. And he's only in Form 2, but he's already a father. So all those categories need to be looked into. And the teachers have to be on the lookout. As much as you teach, you look at those students who are absent-minded, get close to them.
And don't admonish them or judge them immediately.
Don't judge them. Don't admonish them. Everything that was normal became abnormal.
Yes.
I mean, they'll tell you, we closed schools just abruptly, and we found ourselves at home for a whole year, because that was around early March. What were we supposed to do?
Just
we were not
whatever
guided.
could have been done.
Yes.
Now, I'm just asking myself, with all now these emotional imbalances, mental disruptions, everything that has happened to these children, definitely there are disorders that are going to come up. For children who are very healthy before. What are some of these things that we need to watch out for? Some of the disorders that are going to come up. Turudie. Ama ita tuendelee. Okay, so I'm just asking myself, what are some of the disruptions that are going to come up on these children who are somewhat healthy, but now being thrown into this chaos? Disorders are going to come up, whether personality, the mental health issues and everything. What are some of the things that we need to watch out for in children?
You are very right. After COVID, or right now that we are still, we are still going through it.
Yes.
Nobody is normal. We are not normal.
Only
all
the
of us
are different. Only the
percentages and the handling of issues in our lives is different.
Yes.
So if I might manage my issues in a better way than somebody else, or somebody else might manage his issues better than me, and curb the effects before they deteriorate. Yes. So you are very right when you talk about disorders. There's some disorders that might come up if issues are not handled well regarding our teenagers. And one disorder that might come up and is already there is anxiety disorder, whereby you are so anxious. It's like you are uncertain about your future. I came from school abruptly, and I was told there's this COVID. Okay, I can see, yes, everywhere. So many deaths in our country and also abroad. But I didn't know it would take that long. I had been disrupted academically. For the first time, we've had conflicts with my parents because they don't seem to understand me. They don't seem to understand me. And you know, when they're in school, they have a structure. And they also exposed to some peer group that they identify themselves with. Now, back at home, apart from the siblings in the house, they don't have that freedom to get out and visit a classmate because we have the responsibility of telling them, can you keep with him? Because COVID is still with us. And anxiety disorder sets in when you are not certain about issues in your life. So you are anxious. I have not only grown big, my uniform. The other day I told my daughter, can you fit in your uniform? And she'll be, Mom, it can't go through. And they've been eating, and that's okay.
Exactly.
But you know, the disorders that are coming up are also making them turn to food so much.
Yes.
And there could be another extreme where somebody now again loses appetite. We have had such cases because they are uncertain. It has different effects. Now, anxiety disorder, when prolonged, can lead to other disorders. Where you have a personality disorder. Now you don't even want to spend time with your siblings. You are looking at them and it's like they don't know how this thing has affected me. Yes. I was only 15, now I'll be 16 in the same class. And look at me, I've become bigger. And for our girls also, they enlarge a lot.
Yes.
And for the boys, it's like, I wish even COVID-19 can take 2 years. Can extend. Because hawana shida. And there's those who have already adjusted to this kind of life, but whenever they hear somebody has mentioned school in January,
they do not want to get out of this comfort zone that they have created.
They have created a nest whereby I have no parents 24/7. When we say we have stayed for 4 days or a week without eating chapati, chapati is cooked the following day. And then I go to Githeri with these weavers, they call it Mbosha. No. So that comfort again is not very good. And we are saying here, the disorders have come up, only that we don't know what to call them, and as parents we don't know what they are. And anxiety disorder can have other effects. You become so anxious, and our kids now start spending more time and being addicted by these gadgets, the phone, our laptops. And when they ask for a laptop, as we said earlier, we do not know what they want to do with it. So they download all the movies. Then, when you think that they are asleep, these guys are sleeping at 2, at 3 in the morning. Again, now they wake up late.
At around noon, that is when somebody is waking up.
And then when you start asking them, they're just quiet. Somebody just passes by. As you talk to yourself, gets the tea, the bread,
and leaves.
like 7 slices, leaves, takes the breakfast in his room.
And even supper every other night.
And supper and everything else. And then now you have to wonder, where is everybody in their rooms? So that is one disorder. We could also have, they could also have suffer from panic attacks. Panic attacks when you tell your daughter to put on, to just try the uniform, is not going through, and she panics. What has happened to
something
me?
so small?
Something so small. I remember there's a time my daughter had a pimple. And she told me, no, Mom, I never have this when I'm in school. Then I was about, I refrained myself to ask, what does it have to do with COVID, But, she's panicking.
Yes, something is changing.
Something is
and she
changing.
cannot understand.
And she's not in control. When a teenager feels that they're not in control of something, it affects them tremendously. So panic attacks is when they wake up at night. Everybody is asleep. They put on all the lights, and they either put on a movie. They're not even interested. They're just there. You wake up and you listen. There's somebody in the sitting room. So you go and find them.
Yeah.
They are not doing something constructive, but they're just there. That's a panic attack.
Can it affect? You've reminded me an incident that happened with my youngest boy, around 6 years. One night we hear that there is something that is, some strange noise somewhere, like somebody moving something in the house.
Yeah.
So I just woke up, and to my surprise, I was the last one to put off all the lights. And then I find that in the sitting room, the lights are on, in the kitchen, the lights are on, in the corridors, the lights are on. And then I go to their bedroom. And checking, he's seated on his bed with almost every other book. And it's not like he's studying. Anachora too. And then I was like, what are you doing? I'm not sleeping. What happened? I was not feeling like sleeping. So I went and opened the door. He went and opened the back door, let in a cat, a wild cat.
He has all the time.
Let in a wild cat inside the house, took the stool, went to the cupboard, picked a packet of milk.
Wow.
The whole packet. Akaekea paka.
Na paka kaona Christmas imefika. Na kulipa imempata tu.
Akaekea paka na naiwekea kwa bakuli. Akachukua bakuli safi, akaekea paka, ikule hapo.
Wow.
Eti why? Ati paka alikuwa anasikia baridi na alikuwa nje analia. So paka kwa wapi? I don't know. That's what he said. I don't know. Nikamuuliza, sasa umetosheka? Sasa unaweza ukalala? Maybe. Nikashindwa. The whole day he didn't sleep. Hakulala eti mchana ama saa 8. And then it's in the middle of the night, around midnight. Ameketi kwa kiti. Everybody else is asleep. That is something that really troubled me. I really wondered what was happening.
I can imagine. It could be possible. It could happen. And if we were to listen to other parents, they have stories to tell of their teenagers waking up at night.
Yes.
For a 6-year-old or less than 10 years, we talk sometimes of sleeping patterns. Sleeping patterns have been disrupted very much. And as much as he might say, he's not sleepy, at the wee hours of the morning, he will sleep and then oversleep. So he wakes up at 10, he wakes up at 11, and he does not know, he's just disrupted the sleeping pattern. The circle is completely disrupted, and he definitely will wake up at night at one time. So those who are waking up at night may not have the courage to go to the sitting room and put on the light, or invite a cat inside their houses, but most people are just waking up abruptly. And definitely, they are not waking up to read. And I can, in my house, and I have adults, so to speak, and then my girl is informed too, a teenager. I always hear, most of the times, activity in the kitchen. So these people are grabbing food to eat, and I wonder, did these people take supper? They did. And you see, then you wonder where the weight is coming from.
Yes.
Because you are again feeding, and then all this just makes you add weight in the middle of the night.
Because you're not even doing anything physical.
And then it's like, oh, ni wewe, ni mimi. Kuna nini? Hakuna. And somebody has a whole bowl or something. Hata utaki kuangalia ni nini. And you say, food, wacha wakula.
Yeah.
But the pattern has been disrupted. Yes. And then for the adults, for the teenagers now is watching the movies late at night. And then you tell yourself, kind of, parents are comforting them. So, kama ni movie na hajatoka, he's not sleepwalking na hajatoka kwenda, hana shida. But, well, you are looking at the lesser evil here. But their minds have been affected. So apart from the panic disorder, now we don't want to get there, but some are getting depressed.
Sure.
Some are getting depressed. We have our young adults maybe who just got jobs, who had just gotten jobs before the pandemic. They are no longer working. For some reason, the company says we can no longer operate. Yeah. COVID has brought us nothing but losses. And we give you leave. And then for how long? We'll call you. Indefinitely, we cannot tell. Now, they come home. And you welcome them, definitely. Yes. But the thing is, they have no jobs. And it's good, it's difficult. It's very difficult to make them become active again, but it's good to note their emotions as they change and behavior. Because they need also to be active. The parents need to engage them very much in conversation and to know what they can do. By the way, they have most of them are self-employed themselves. I saw an athlete yesterday on the TV, and he has decided to make these GCOs, additional GCOs, and they are selling like hotcakes in Eldoret. And he says, I can no longer run. Yeah, that's my career, but now that has been halted.
Something else.
So instead of getting them, seeing them get into some stress, then depression, encourage them to do something. Okay. There's so many disorders that might come up, but we are praying that they don't go to the extreme.
Yeah. So what about now, maybe as we wrap up, for the child who is, for the parent who is noting that this child, the behavior has changed, the emotions have been affected, and there is a problem. Yeah. For them that we know now, this one I can no longer handle. What options do we have for as intervention measures now for these children so that we can be able to help them?
It is very important that you look at the underlying signs. You can only establish that there's a problem after observing. Observe your teenager. Some will withdraw. You know your teenager very well. They are talkative. They no longer talk so much. And once in a while, make sure you eat a meal on the dining room. If you have no dining room, sitting room where the seats are, let them just hold their plates like this and make a conversation, even if it's so irrelevant. Watch the news together as you eat, but they might take the lunch in their room because you're not there. Yeah. Even breakfast, because maybe you took yours early and went to your own business. But at least one single meal, eat together. Then observe them.
On daily basis or?
Daily basis.
Okay.
Daily basis. Okay, I understand some parents might find this one hard because, believe it or not, with this COVID, some people are very busy. Yeah. And their work warrants them to be away. Yes. Make sure, maybe 2 days, for those, depending on your work, don't let a week go by before you have that meal together. Yeah. Because that conversation will tell you a lot. Some withdraw and they cannot even look at the parents anymore. And you have to get these signs and know when they're getting into a depression or when they're getting withdrawn. Okay. Some will talk back a character that you are not seeing in them. Kwani leo kunywa breakfast ni lazima? Hajawahi kukujibu hivyo. Yeah. Na hiyo chakula naona leo umeweka kidogo. Chakula gani? He has the food on his plate in his hand. Chakula gani? And you say, wow, is this a rib? namaanisha hicho chakula umeweka kidogo. Wacha nirudishe basi, hata njaa imeisha. Such behavior is happening, and you should not take it for granted. Now, for a parent who does not, stay with the kids for many hours during the day, there will always something that will pass by. Especially if you come in the evening, make sure you talk to them. Make sure you greet each one of them separately. You are going to notice something. Now, call for help.
Okay.
Now, counselors are still counseling. If this person can listen to a relative that he respects or she respects, talk to the relative, know what to do. Movement has been eased a little bit before they go down the drain, before it severely damages these teenagers.
Wow, we thank God for this, because at least the information, there is hope.
There is hope.
And there is help out there.
Yeah.
One thing I think we need to do is to be able as parents to be very keen whom we give our children for help when they need the therapy, when they need to be helped, to be counseled. I think we need to be very careful again. Who are we giving? Because we have so many quacks out there.
Very true.
And they are coming in the disguise of being able to help these children, but they are looking for prey, to prey on our children. So I think we also need to be a little bit cautious when we are giving these children to the people that they are going to be helped. And we also need to seek help. When we feel something is
seeking help is paramount, because it depends how you've walked the journey with your child.
Yes.
Maybe you have been able to solve some issues, and you do not necessarily need even to take them to a counselor. However, should things get towards a level whereby you need to do that, for instance, if you notice the withdrawal, then you discover he started taking drugs. Now again, that's alarming enough. You need not to seek help. And I'm imagining a situation whereby you cannot be able to tell your child, I don't want these drugs in the house. In any case, you are afraid. It's just so shocking for you even to approach the issue. Then I think this is the time you need to take them for counseling. However, be careful, as you're saying, because some may purport to be counselors and they are not. Another thing, it depends how bad is the situation. And you'll be able, you start by talking to them. And then if things get worse, then you'll be able to seek help.
Okay. So I thank God for this day, and even for everything that we've been able to learn, and even to share, and even to discuss and talk about. One thing is that I know we can shape this generation. We can make them to be better people. And for anybody, all the teenagers, at least you can be able to handle for us the teenagers that we find it a little bit hard to handle. The teenagers and all the children, I believe, downwards, and even the young youths. So any sort of counseling. For anybody who's in Nakuru, if they get in touch with us, we can always give your contact, so that at least we can be able to help. And we thank God for today. We will just wind it up there, so that we can be able to prepare for another one. This has been something that is very, very good for me. I've really enjoyed it, and I believe God is going to give us more time to be able to talk. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being with us. Thank you. God bless you.